My name's Jay, and I'm the co-chair of the Empty Bowls Thunder Bay Organizing Committee. Since we're not able to fill your empty bowls by having our regular meal, we're sharing some recipes, and I'm stepping through how to prepare them in your own kitchen. Today, I'm going to be doing chicken stock. We got a great recipe for chicken soup, and since I had a whole chicken I had to break down, I figured I'd show you how to break down the chicken and how I make stock from that. I think a good stock is really the foundation of a good soup, and the recipe that we were given used bouillon, which is a great substitute if you're not going to make your stock. But if you have a chicken, a turkey, even the roast chickens that you can pick up, save the bones, throw them in your freezer, and when you're having a soup day at home, start a little early and boil up some stock. It takes a couple hours, but the prep time is about 20 minutes, and that's breaking down the chicken and separating the meat out that will eventually go into the soup. So if you have any questions about this, you can leave them in the comments below, and you can get more information and the recipe on our website at emptybowlsthunderbay.com. So here we are making some stock. So to make some stock, we're going to start by breaking down the chicken. And I started here by cutting off the neck and the excess skin at the front. I'm going to go through and just do one of each side, as they're pretty symmetrical. To take the wings off, you just slice the skin at the top, and the whole thing should just fall aside. You just have to work through the one joint. Likewise with the legs, once you cut through the skin, it's pretty obvious where you need to cut. The joint itself, if you can get the tip of your knife in, it'll work through, and if not, you can just grab it and pull back a little, and that joint will separate. Now I like to take the breasts off from the bottom, using the tip of the knife to just follow the ribs up to the midline. I find that a little easier than coming in from the top, and a little less wasteful, although it's nice when you're making soup because any bits of meat that are still attached to the bones are just going to be more flavor for you. Ribs up along to the midline here, you can flip it over and cut through. And I take all the skin off when I'm making soup. The skin is not very good in soup, but it is excellent in stock. It gives you lots of gelatin, lots of fat, and lots of flavor. So I keep that with my bones that I roast and put in soup. And then the carcass itself, I just break down to more manageable sizes by bisecting it there. I've got a cleaver, which is handy, but any big knife should do. Now to debone the legs and the thighs, I just do a quick slit up along the bones, and then sort of work my way in there with my fingers and find out where the bone is. And I'm working mostly with the tip of my knife here, trying to get the bone detached from the meat and get underneath that. And then I can cut through. And then just basically scraping the meat here off the bone and working my way back down to that joint. And once I'm at the joint, I can give it a little bit of a twist, and it comes loose, and then it's just a matter of cutting off the connective tissue. The legs and the thighs are really nice, flavorful meat, but they've got a lot more of the sinews and stuff in them, so you want to try and get as many of those out as you're cutting it up. And then when you're cubing it up to put in the soup, you can make sure to cut across so that if you do get any tough spots, you're only getting a tiny bit at a time and not a whole string of them. So the thigh bones are just like the drumstick bone. You just have to get the tip of your knife in between the bone and the meat, and they come out pretty easily. Once again, I'm going to take the skin off and put that in with my bones to roast for the stock. The chicken itself I'm going to save for the chicken soup, which is going to be the next video that we have coming out. And I feel around with my fingers and see if I can see any tough spots or any bits of gristle there that I can cut out. Once again, it's not good in the soup, but that stuff is great in the stock because that gives you lots of the gelatin there that makes the soup stock so good. And I just spray down a sheet pan with some oil, and we're gonna put all the bones here. I'll chop up some of those bigger chunks just to help them cook more evenly. I've also got the bones that I had in my freezer from the last chicken I had, and I'm going to throw those in there too. More bones the better. And I'm going to put that in the oven at 400 degrees, and it was about an hour and a half that I let these roast, and really by color more than anything. And then while those are roasting, I'll do some sped up video of cutting up the aromatic vegetables. I got carrots, celery, onions. This is a great way to use up some vegetables that might be a little past their prime. Cut off any bad spots, but if they're soft or wilty, it's much the same. You can see that celery is not at its best. I had some leeks that I had left in my fridge that I had intended to make some soup with, but then this project happened and I'm making a whole lot of soup. So rather than a leek and potato soup, this went into my stock as well. With the onions, you can throw the skins in to the stock. That's just more flavor, just not too much. I pull the meat out once it's nice and well roasted like this. Everything should be thoroughly cooked and browned, and you should have a really nice fond on the bottom of the pan, that brown caramelized goodness from the chicken. And I transfer all of that into the stock, which I had kick-started by starting it with boiling water from the kettle. And hopefully you'll have figured this out so you get just enough water to cover everything when you're done. And you scrape up as much of that fond as you can and get all of the little bits of fat into the pot. And there's going to be some stuff there that sticks on and won't come off easily. And that can be easily brought off with just a bit of boiling water. And that helps you deglaze it. And then you can just scrape it with a wooden spoon or a wooden spatula, and that should all come off. And you don't want to waste any of that because that's where all the roasty flavors from cooking the chicken are concentrated. And once you've got that all scraped off, you put all that straight into the pot. And then you're just put a lid on this and let it simmer. And I let mine go for about 2 hours before straining out all the solids, and I ended up with a really nice stock. If you want to see us make that into a chicken soup, you can tune in to our next video, which should be coming out shortly. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below, and for recipes and more information, you can visit our website at emptybowlsthunderbay.com.